people do not make up their minds. It is unbelievable. We're gonna find out though. It looks like we're gonna have a very even game on our hands. Our commentators probably will agree. It is time for game 2 of Monkey Freedom Fighters versus OG with OD Pixel and Draskell.
Indeed, welcome back for game 2 between MFF and OG with myself, OD Pixel and Draskell. The game has begun, so let's get ourselves straight in. And Andy, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the lineup of Monkey Freedom Fighters. This is what they need to do. They need to get Rise the Magnus, they need to get Sing Sing on a melee core, like the Anti-Mage, and then maybe they'll have a chance to take a game against a lineup as strong as OG.
I love the contrast and attitude towards MFF as soon as they have Magnus on their team. It's just like, alright boys, we're in. We got Magnus, let's go. But I do like the overall draft style this time for MFF because they do have a pretty nice wombo combo. Like RP, Vac is always there, Winter's Curse is there too. There's a lot of teamfight utility that OG are going to have to watch out for. And unlike in the first match, where I really felt like MFF had to outplay in order to win, I kind of think that OG are now in a similar position. Now granted, they do have, I would say, fairly strong lanes. I'm also curious to see how the Nyx works out for them. I know that it was played at Nanyang, but I'm not entirely sure how experienced OG are with the hero. I still think it's a pretty solid pick for this game, and we'll have to see how the lane shape up.
And dealing with Stay Ice Ice Ice, aka Mr. Moon Meander, rocking the double mangoes, and obviously with the regen from that, the base regen from Nyx Assassin, I feel he's going to do fairly good in this lane against the Darkseer. But we'll see how Jimmy can deal with the Nyx. Mid lane at the moment, Kebab hanging around here on the wide van, moving in with the Arctic Burn just to put some harassment down onto Miracle. And the Shockwave as well. Arise asserting his dominance here in the mid lane. But overall lane-wise, I mean, MFF, we talked about in the first game how their draft was kind of suited to getting the early momentum. This time, when you've got an Anti-Mage, you've got the Magnus with the Empower, if you want to play the farm game, you're going to be able to get away with it against OG's lineup.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to note here is that OG have opted to go aggressive, so they just want to make sure that the AM is not going to have an easy time. They recognize, okay, there's a Lina support and there's a Winter Wyvern. At the very least, we're going to pull both of them down to us, and we have really good kill potential on squishy supports. AM, as a carry, doesn't really contribute a whole lot to the lane itself, unless you have other forms of lockdown, which MFF only really have Light Strike Array. And like OG, they have Snowball, they can throw out Ice Shards into a stun from Fly as well. And they also have minus armor with Rocket Barrage. So the kill potential on the side of OG is way, way higher.
Yeah, I mean, look at this aggression just walking around the tier 1 at the bottom. Beaver Knight, Mr. Sing Sing. He's got to be incredibly careful. And this is really nice, as you were saying, for OG. The fact that it forces MFF to go, do we keep Kebab in the mid lane to help Magnus find those initial levels against the Queen of Pain, or have we got to bring him down towards the bottom? And it looks like it's going to be the latter. He's heading his way down here. Sing Sing just feeling so much aggression here from the lineup of OG. It's not fun at all. And we're going to have a quick pause here. I'm sure MFF discuss maybe what the plan's going to be, but the Anti-Mage, do they leave him down here with this tri-lane? Is it going to be good enough to secure farm for Sing, or maybe we even see a lane switch around from either side?
I think it's probably better for him to actually just go top.
Okay.
Like, top 1v1 against the Nyx, sure, you might pull a support rotation, but if you let OG support stay together, like the Venge and the Tusk, your support combination is weaker when it comes to getting kills, and especially when like Crit and Fly hit level 2, then you're going to have both spells in the Tusk, you're going to have the minus armor coming out from the Venge. They can just straight up kill somebody, even on their own. If the Gyro's there, then you're definitely dead, because you have no method of saving. Even a Cold Embrace won't be able to save you from Rocket Barrage and such, so I think that trying to split up the supports on the side of OG could be a nice plan for MFF, but we'll see if Sing just wants to sit down here. He did come to the lane rather prepared. He bought 8 tangos and a salve, so he realizes that, you know, this lane is going to be contested. And
this could be your first blood here. The light strikes out. The ice shards have been thrown to try and block it off, but Kebab's there with the range. First blood there for the side of MFF. We were talking about both team supports, and on MFF, they're using the fact that they had 2, and there was only one on the side of OG hanging around the river. Nicely done there to kick the game off.
And maybe a bit of miscommunication. I'm not sure if he thought the supports were farther away or what, because they had a ward and they realized that neither of them were pulling, and they were also just not in the area in general. Maybe he just thought that he could get away with going to the rune spot alone, but it is nice to be able to get that kill on the board. They're getting a little bit closer to level 2 themselves, so we're looking at either a Splinter Blast coming up on Kebab, or a Cold Embrace, and then of course they have Dragon Slave on Yapster once he hits 2. And that does add a lot of kill potential on MFF as well.
And mid lane as well, Arise. He's still doing fine against Miracle. 13 for 4, 13 for 2 between the two. So Arise, obviously on track to get what we'd imagine to be ending up to be a decent timing on the blink there, because he always gets on the Magnus. I can't remember seeing a game where Rise doesn't get a decent timing on the blink, so we'll see if he's able to give us a repeat performance this game. Bottom lane, as you said, Flying Crit still hanging around here with no tail. At the same time, Kabap and Yapzor are there to back up Sing Sing, but the farm's not great for him at the moment. 8 for 0 on this anti-mage, 20 for 9 on this Miracle Gyrocopter. So lane-wise, at least down here on the bottom, certainly working in favor of OG.
And even top lane too. I mean, if you look at what Moon's doing right now, mana burn, unbelievably good against Darkseer in lane. You can't Ion Chill, you can't farm. And in that regard, he's 10-0 right now on Jimmy, whereas Moon is 17-5. So the Nyx is solo winning this lane. Whereas normally you look to Darkseer, again, last game, he didn't get the farm. This game, he's not getting the farm. How late is the mech going to be? Well, if it's too late, you're potentially playing a 4v5 with a Darkseer not having a mech. Into still pretty strong teamfight coming in from OG. That is a little bit of cause for worry right now.
It certainly feels like at this point as well, in terms of the farm, this is going to be all down to Rise, really. He is going to have to be the one to get the good timing on his item pickups and to make action happen across the map, because at the moment, the team struggling in the side lanes without any sort of additional help, so it's all about the Magnus play for me really here, Andy.
I do agree. I think that Arise has a lot of work cut out for him this game. He has opted to go for the traditional mag build though. Hasn't put an early point into Empower or anything like that, so maybe he's just prioritizing his own kill potential. Oh, bottom lane.
Sing Sing making a change, set him up very nicely there. OG with the cold embraces there. Sing Sing's going to be fine, and well, with the Arctic burn, they'll force back the try lane of OG. Very
Spooky.
nicely done there.
That was really close. The timing on the snowball was actually perfect too, because that was mid blink animation from Crit. You could not have done that any better.
Top lane, nice. Moving in onto Demon, just trading the hits, and as you said, CS-wise, still the Nyx Assassin having a pretty good time up top. Miracle in the mid lane has hit 6 here, and Kabap, the corner brace won't save you this time, no tail. Has enough magical damage there with the level 2 rocket barrage, and that find themselves a kill onto the board, so 1-1 at the moment in terms of the kills. Mid lane, Miracle starting to break away a little bit in CS, 26 against the 20, but still not too bad and not too shabby here for Arise's mag.
At the end of the day, OG are still winning all three of their lanes. Like, the Nyx, the Queen, and the Gyro are the highest last hitters. That is exactly what you're looking for with this style of lineup.
Oh, is he getting a kill here? So there's a lot of damage from his Iron Shell. He uses the Vendetta hit to finish it off, and he'll get himself away. Perfectly calculated there by Moon.
This is a really big problem. I mean, sure, after getting the Soul Ring, Jimmy has managed to recover a bit of his farm. But during the early lane, the Nyx are just able to bully him. He's got so much freaking regen with just 2 mangoes. It's actually insane. You can never force him out, just based on having that mana burn. The other thing to note here, too, is Nyx is amazing against, well, Darkseer throughout the entire game, and also the 2 supports that MFF have, right? Because they're both intelligence-based. You can use Carapace to Splinter Blast, or block Splinter Blast and stun. Same thing with Lena's spells, because they're both AoE. It's just very nice to play Nyx into these types of compositions, because they have to use their spells. And if they do, they get stunned, and it also hurts quite a bit when you're a support and you have no HP.
And just the fact that they've got that Nyx stun as well on top of the magic missile and the snowball, there is definitely the control to deal with Sing Sing on the anti-mage if they can chain them perfectly from the side of OG, which I'm sure they'll be able to. But yeah, 2-for-1 at the moment, and OG, the farm difference is not looking fantastic here for the Radiant in terms of CS. 40-11 on that Gyrocopter here. It's pretty much as good of a start as OG would have hoped for.
Yeah, and the thing is, Moon hasn't really had to leave his lane either. Like, he's level 8, he's sitting on Arcanes, Miracle's pretty much in the same boat. He's just farming away, nothing really too scary. MFF are the ones right now who feel maybe a little bit under the gun to try to do something in the next couple of minutes. Because what happens if you just continually let No Tail get his free farm on Gyro, and the Queen, maybe he goes for an early Orchid. If that happens, and Miracle has Orchid before, I mean, Sing might not even have Battle Fury by that point. The guy's got nothing but a freaking ring of health and 500 gold to his name. That is, it's not fast enough. Like, the Queen's going to be able to keep pressure on the map with the Nyx. You're going to potentially get solo picked. You're going to lose your safe lane tier 1 at 8 minutes. There are a lot of things going wrong right now for MFF.
And even if you try and look at the bright side for MFF, the fact that they've got the Empower eventually, that's going to be obviously very useful for Sing to catch up in terms of farm. The issue is, as you said, the OG have got so much solo pick-off potential with their lineup. And Rosie's going to RP Miracle. They're going to chain it here with the Light Strike. Very nicely timed. Have they got enough damage? No! Very painful there for the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters. If they got that kill, that would have been very, very big for Rise and the gang, but just didn't quite have the damage and the control for Miracle, even with the RP.
Belt of strength value right there.
Yeah.
Coming in for Miracle. Without that, he assuredly would have died. But supports on the side of OG still getting some EXP here. I think it's level 4 for Fly right now, and Crit is pretty much in the same boat. This support combination is so terrifying. It's a lot of stun, a lot of damage, and that kind of makes the rest of MFF kind of group up a little bit, play less effective. Their supports are going to be having a really rough time, I feel, especially.
And Moon's rotation here with the Vendetta.
Yeah.
Sing.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I mean,
I think he knows
something's up.
He does.
For sure.
Don't do it, Sing. The
false sense of security.
Here we go, straight in. They're going to get a hit in. They're looking for a stun. They won't be able to line it up. Yep, so jukes it out, but now with the spike carapace returning damage from the light strike away, that's one. Sing trying to move forward. Arises there as well. Skewers in. With the mana void and the last touch there, they'll find the return kill onto the next assassin here. So a kill going the way of Sing on the anti-mage. So actually a trade that the MFF are going to be pretty happy with. It cost the rotation of the side of OG and taking down the support and feeding a kill to the carry. MFF, they'll be happy with that one.
I mean, Sing has 17 CS, so it's still a long way to go before we're actually back in the game on this AM. The nice thing is, they have that sentry down. I'm not entirely sure if OG realized that YapzOr placed it as soon as he TP'd, but if they can keep that up, and they get one support standing behind Sing, it is very hard to kill him, especially if it is the Winter Wyvern, because Cold Embrace stops so much of the incoming damage from the autos in the early game.
And this is what I'm talking about as well. The fact that Arise, pretty much 10 minutes in, he's pretty much got that blink. It's going to be the 10-minute blink dagger here for the man. Okay. And this is when stuff starts to go down.
Fly is pulling the creep wave bottom, his own creeps, to deny farm from Sing and to pull the wave back into a more dangerous position. That is some stuff that you should see more, honestly. Like, this is something that can put the AM in an uncomfortable spot where he doesn't really want to farm as far up as, like, even where he is right now, as we're going to see Jimmy get picked here, top lane. Rip and pepperonis. But they do have Blink on the Meg, so there is now potential for some Wombo combo action.
And they're certainly going to need it. There's your Blink smokes being picked up by Kebab. And of course, Lena. There's also one being given here to Magnus, so we'll see what MFF can line up here. Rise, he's gonna look to see where the best opening is going to be at the moment. Miracle hanging around at the point with his Invis rune, just scouting out Sing Sing. They don't have a Sonic Wave, but they are going to have, of course, Fly coming in as well on this Vengeful Spirit. The question is, do they have the control and the burst to take down this anti-mage? Probably more likely to do so if they go for Kebab, and that might be what they do here. Magic Missile now with the dagger as well. That'll be one kill. They'll take down the Wyvern. Meanwhile, though, top lane, Jimmy. He got a kill onto the Gyrocopter with Horizon, and that's what we're talking. We unfortunately missed it because the action was going down bottom at the same time, but RP, as expected, was revealed with the Blink Dagger combination, and that's a big kill, taking down Motel on the Gyro.
They are doing a pretty good job at stopping OG from taking objectives at the very least. Like, they've only lost their tier 1 bottom at this point. And I think last game, OG had already taken like the majority of the tier 1s, if not all of them, by 11 minutes. So that is a step in the right direction if you're MFF. You do want to try to delay the game, get Sing the items that he needs. He's starting to recover and farm. Still a little bit behind the pace of the rest of the side of OG, especially considering the cores. And I think OG are going to start pressuring a tad bit more. They got level 6 on Fly, so they're going to have the swap available. They got Call Down. All of their big team fight spells are available. Nice, Skewer.
I guess the Skewer in here onto No gets the cooldown out, but the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters, they'll find one kill. The stun comes through from Moon here on this next assassin, trying to move in. He's got to be careful. There are 3 heroes here on the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters, and they might want to turn. They get the vacuum back onto the Nyx. He's a little bit too tanky, and they don't have the burst. Yeah, I've got the Laguna Blade now as well. Arise with a haste rune. Still 45 seconds before the RP's back, but 12 minutes in, looking a bit better. Oh, that TP's not going to work out for you, Sonny Jim. And Arise will get a punch to the backside.
Man, their supports are already like almost level 7. I suppose YapzOr is 6 as well.
Miracle. He has got the Sonic Wave off in a couple of seconds. Question is, does he want to try for something here? Crit out, nice there. Moving in, moving around. Leading here with a Vendetta, see if they can scout anyone out. At the moment, not seeing them hiding in the trees now. They found Kebab, and they know that YapzOr's there as well. And YapzOr, they're going to try and set it up perfectly here. The Storm's going to miss. Shards will come through. And if trying to get himself in position to use the Sonic Wave, doesn't need to. They'll find themselves one. They'll look for Kebab here as well. Now Sing Sing coming into the fight. See what can do, taking the mana away from Miracle, but the Sonic Wave's already there. They'll find Kebab. Mana Void comes through onto the Green of Pain, not quite enough. Sing Sing trying to chase this down here. He's not going to be able to do so. So they do just lose 2 here, Monkey Freedom Fighters, and can't quite find anything in return there.
Well, it's still a little bit of time before this AM is going to really get off the ground and especially with the mag being dead. You need to kind of stick together with the AM most of the time now, I feel, if you're a Rise. At the very least, just give him the Empower so we can farm the woods, and yeah, we're going to see that being utilized. The one thing that MFF can take solace in right now, OG are not great at killing Roshan. Like, they need Helm of the Dominator up on No-Tail before they can even attempt it, and then they're going to also need a point into Sigil on crit, which he's opted to go for the full nuke build. So they don't have that capability just yet. They probably will in the next 5 or 10 minutes, but that does give MFF a tad bit of breathing room, because normally an Aegis push this early means that you pretty much sack your tier 1s. It's like, okay, we can't fight into this. If we do, we lose, then they get an even bigger advantage, and it is something nice for MFF that they don't have to worry about that coming their way, at least not right now. What is a little bit concerning is Moon is level 11.
Yes. He's having a great time there in the Nyx Assassin. 3 kills, 2 assists, only tied the once. He's looking for more action here at the moment with the Vendetta. Starting behind enemy lines. There's actually a smoke.
He's gonna break it. Oh god, that's so bad.
The ping's
they don't have any detection.
They do have a sentry down on Kabat. They drop it a Rise, just baiting here with the RP. Doesn't quite blow it. Just holding around.
How did they not have even a single sentry?
But they dropped the sentry on Kabat. They did.
They did afterwards.
They had a sentry.
Okay.
There, but yeah, I was
gonna say that was
to the high ground on the Nyx. Yeah.
Was he just looking somewhere else? I suppose when they were walking past.
It was a little bit of a slow reaction, I think.
Yeah.
And no doubt, farming up the Ancients there. But I think off the back of what you're saying in terms of Roshan, the fact that OG's lineup isn't the greatest at taking it, and Monkey Freedom Fighter it's a great lineup for fighting into the Roche pit. With the RP, with the wall, with the Winter's Curse, there's the potential to try and turn it if OG do try and go for a greedy Roche at any point in the game.
That is very, very true. And especially once the AM finishes up Battle Fury and Blitz, then you can easily take it, and that's going to be the point in the game where you start have to worry about the split push. But again, it's all about the Orchid timing here on Miracle 2. Because if he gets that Orchid before Sing has his Manta up, it just means there's one more hero on the map that you have to worry about who has the capability of solo killing you as an AM. And that's the worst feeling in the world. When you lack vision, you can't see it coming.
I can see a smoke coming out from the side of OG. Kabab just hiding here in the tree line. Will now move out, reveal himself in the mid lane. The pings are coming out here onto the Wyvern. And they'll have to cool down the sun from the high ground. Kabab, he's not going anywhere. Easy pick up there for the side of OG. Kill will get credited here to Miracle. Let's try and take the tier 1 off the back of this. Monkey Freedom Fighters themselves hanging around the bottom. There's going to be Demon moving in. Sas is going to spawn him out. And Miracle's got a DD. Demon will pop the mag, but with the Sonic Wave, no way slipping through that one. Double kill picks up there for Queen. Rise does have an RP here, but with this Dire Observer, they're going to know exactly where he is. You've got the Nyx Assassin ready as well if MFF do try and fight into it. And OG, they're ready to go. There's going to be the blink. Gets the Skewer onto Fly. Light Strike Array as well. With the Shockwave, can they quite do it? But the punch is coming out from Crit. They'll try and turn it. The Guna Blade will finish off Fly. Rise baits at the RP. Finally uses it onto No-Tail, but it doesn't matter. He still goes down. They won't find a kill off the back of the RP to top off that they already found onto Venge. And ends up overall just being a 2-for-1 trade. That OG still coming out on top. And Arise, you could see that he was hoping to find a perfect opportunity to use that RP, but he just couldn't, and he ends up blowing it in a situation where nothing can be done off the back of it.
It's going to be very difficult to find big RPs, right? Both cores on the side of OG are ranged. If there was an RP that managed to hit both of them, you have a swap for at least one, right? At this point, it's 17 minutes in. Our Winter Wyvern is level 5.5. We've seen this before. A support who is extremely underleveled, whereas having the ultimate available to you, like Winter's Curse, helps so much in these engagements, just being able to land a nice fact wall, lining up a Light Strike Array after the fact, or even, an RP.
They've got an Orchid here, Sing to check it out a little bit here, and yeah, he should be fine. So I'm going to chase him here. Miracle actually just backs off, knows there's going to be some reaction coming out from the rest of the side of MFF. Moon, though, however, he may go in a little bit closer. Just stands here to try and get the vision, but MFF, they're playing it safe. Back up to the tier 1. 40 seconds until that RP is back online. OG 11 for 5, 17 minutes in, but you got to admit it, MFF at the moment in Game 2 looking a lot stronger than they did in this position at Game 1.
They are definitely looking to be in better shape.
Yes.
However, it's still not good shape.
No.
That's the problem. I mean, they've turned it around a little bit. And yeah, the Battle Fury is going to be coming up on Sing here shortly, which is pretty astounding considering how hard of a laning phase he actually had. So the fact that he has not yet gotten a single death to his name, and he's also able to get this level of farm, is pretty insane. They are going to be losing Roshan though. Helm of the Dominator is complete on that
Gyrocopter. He smokes, I mean... It's gonna be dispel a couple.
This is actually the worst shit ever. Like when you're playing against Nyx and this happens to you, like they can't even catch him with a sentry.
Yeah,
everything the MFF are trying to do is being thwarted. and the movement of the Nyx and just how long you actually stay in Vendetta now, because they buffed the duration at lower levels. It used to be a lot shorter. So now even at level 1 it's 40 seconds, and the movement speed also I think got increased at levels 1 and 2. So you can kind of just scout out for a much longer period of time and prevent that rotation coming in from MFF. So OG continually just playing a very solid game.
Yeah, and the farm as well for No Tower has been clearing up stack after stack here of the Ancients, and he's starting to show. He's, what, 500 into the recipe here for the BKB?
Yep.
And when that's online, I mean, MFF, they've got an RP. They've got a fair bit of right click with the anti-mage. I mean, I say that. How's his Battle Fury looking now, Sing?
He almost has it. He's
okay.
like 300, 400 away.
Okay, after the last sword. Okay, so he is getting there. And then the potential to farm and catch up with the value, at least in terms of net worth, of OG is there. But OG, they're not going to want to let that happen. They're smoked up and ready to go. Heading towards the top lane. They're going to be able to lead in here with a Vendetta on Moon. We'll see what they can jump onto first. Arise hiding in the tree line. He's going to actually just TP straight out of it. The snowball comes through. He's going to connect in time. No! Won't quite be able to find the stun. So it looks like MFF will avoid it apart from Jimmy. Jimmy gets left behind.
Nyx is so good against Darkseer, man.
There's a lot of burst with that Baron.
Well, it's not even about the burst per se. It's just about the fact that any hero that you have Ion Shell applied to, you can get stunned for 2.5 seconds with that. Like, he just stuns him for 5 seconds every single time he opens. It's like eating a full Morana arrow. That's how the Nyx combo works against any hero who just has AoE. You're just stunned forever. That's really the issue that you run into. Because normally you want to come into a fight, you want a vac wall. If the Nyx sees you coming and pops Carapace preemptively before the vacuum...
Oh, saying Miracle's got a Sonic Wave here as well.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did manage to finish off the Battle Fury before that happened though. So that's the silver lining there, but it is a very thin one.
Yeah, it ain't great. I mean, you could also argue that having some towers left at 20 minutes is an upgrade from the first game. But it's still not looking great. I don't understand how OG can go from playing one style, right? Like last game they were very teamfight oriented. They did it extremely well. Everyone was on the same page. This time they used their offlaner in a completely different way. Like Moon's job this game has more or less just been gathering information, like similarly to how you would play like a bounty hunter, right? You walk around, you try to find the enemy, and then you kill them.
Oh, Miracle. Finding kills across the map here, Absor. He's going to feel the wrath here at the Quad Monster kill streak for the man. 14 for 5, OG continuing their flow. There is RP up here on the rise. Can they find the combo that they've been waiting for all game? They have got the Vacuum Wall, they've got the Winter's Curse available, they've got the Battle Fury and the Empower on the Anti-Mage. If they can find the big RP, they've got a shot. Looks like we are just going to have a bit of a pause here. And then we'll see if MFF can play out the bag after we do resume. But it is going to have to be one of the biggest wombo combos that MFF will have ever hit, let alone even dreamed of.
Yeah. I mean, if they catch Miracle, I think that's one of the biggest targets, because you want the hero with the biggest mana pool at this point.
Yes.
That's the one thing that you can look to and be like, okay, if we get a big mana void, if we get a big RP, there's some team fight potential there, for sure. And now that they have Winter's Curse actually available, that's going to be some icing on the cake for them as well. But, like, your Winter Wyvern hit 6 so late. Like, unbelievably late. The other supports were like level 9 by the time you were level 5.
Yes.
Like, that is a problem. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that when you last pick AM, and you've already given away Gyro, you really haven't seen the other supports yet from the side of OG at that point, right? Because they picked, I think it was Gyro, and then they picked Tusk, and they picked Queen third. So you still don't actually know what they're doing with their lanes. And then at the very end of it, you're like, okay, well, we have Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
They've banned out Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
They've banned out, what else did they ban?
They banned out the Sven.
The Sven, and
Yeah.
Tiny.
And Tiny the band.
Okay,
yeah.
so those are all the 3 heroes that could have potentially contested a lane. So OG are looking at the draft and thinking, alright, we still have some lane ambiguity, we can potentially go aggressive if need be, because we got Gyro. You know, Tusk is still okay in an aggressive support lane. And then it's like, oh, they picked AM. We can just go aggressive, last pick Venge. You know, it doesn't even matter, we just need another hero with a disable, and we know that AM can't fight us. So it's fine. Like, the way that Fly drafted around this was actually very, very smart, so I'm a fan.
Yeah, and of course, Monkey Freedom Fighters certainly aren't at the moment. They're not a fan of what's been going on from OG, but let's have a look. Let's see if we... Jimmy suggesting a remake from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to fly with the admins, Jimmy.
Unfortunately, there is still no ability to load from replay and reborn. So
There isn't.
we cannot actually remake the game. We're just hoping that it gets better because both teams are experiencing some lag and packet loss right now.
They are. But it looks like we're going to give it a shot. So let's get ourselves back in, get the game back underway, and remember that we are at this crucial point where we're seeing if Arise can hit that big RP that he needs to.
I think you just... I can't hear you anymore. Did you kick your...
I kicked it out.
You kicked out? Okay, Owen kicked out his own microphone cable on the back of the desk.
I've got it.
Pretty standard stuff coming in from him. But for the time being, OG's continually applying some pressure.
Don't worry, Andy, we fixed it.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
I can't
On
believe
the
you
fly.
actually did that.
That music tech degree paid off.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. 14 for 5 at the moment, and okay, it didn't happen. Arise couldn't find the only he was looking for. He's never got the 4-star as well,
Yeah.
so that's going to help him step it up. OG on the high ground, looking to tickle MFF to get the slot to Arise, will skew himself away. He's going to be able to hold them back here at the moment, but the pressure from OG continues onto the tier 2. As MFF is just forced back into their base hit. Bottom lane, Sing Sing, continuing to find the farm. TPs are baited out here, and they'll actually... they're sending a few heroes down to this bottom lane as well, but Sing Sing's playing this game very careful. He knows that a lot is on him to get this farm online and become the very scary and potent force that an anti-mage can be.
They are on to him, man. They saw that TP, they got that ward, they're like, alright boys, it's time to go. And it's going to see pretty much everything. They're going for a bait on Sing, and OG are going to be fully aware of this. They are going to get the D ward, which should give them some information. At the very least, that Sing should not be safe. He should definitely not farm, and I think he knows it too.
So many things are coming out.
Moon's here also with the Vendetta.
Sing knows they're onto him as well.
He didn't see them, or he didn't see the AM, so he's just checking for the standard TP spots right now.
And they can turn MFF. They've got 4 heroes here, so if I say Moon reveals himself, there is going to be the turn. So I don't think he will. The player's safe, just scaring out, getting himself to the rest of the side of OG. OG themselves, they are scattered across the map, so they're not necessarily going to want to try and fight into this one. As MFF do just hang around the sidelines and just giving the space for Sing Sing. It's all that they can do here at this point.
I mean, they're getting some space for Sing, but at the end of the day, the AM, you gotta solo carry this game with just an RP. I mean, that's really what it feels like, and that is a very, very steep hill to climb.
Maybe if he gets like a rampage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, Miracle's game so far. 8 kills, hasn't died at all. He's got the Aghanims complete now in the Orchid, 23 minutes in.
Yeah. I mean, really, what do you do with the supports on MFF this game? You can't contest the tri-lane because your support duo is weaker in terms of kill potential. And the other thing is you're playing against a Gyro versus AM matchup, which is totally in favor of Gyro at the early laning stage. So, you can try to go mid, but you're ganking a Queen of Pain with no reliable opener. And then your last option is go try to kill the Nyx, which probably would have been the better choice, honestly, like after seeing the way the game played out. Just like pressuring the Nyx a little bit, so maybe Jimmy can get to an earlier mech. They take some team fights based off that, and then maybe that opens up space for Sing. Because he wasn't farming even with the supports there. Like, it's not like them being there was allowing him to get anything out of that lane. They were just kind of soaking, and then nothing really happened except OG won the lane really hard.
I mean, at this point, what is the plan for MFF? Is it just kind of sit back?
You hope for the
Sing,
biggest
wait for the
mana void
RPs.
ever.
Yeah.
That is pretty much what you're looking at. Okay, here's what you do, right? You get a refresher on AM,
Double mana void.
and you go for the RP double mana void. The problem is, I don't think Queen of Pain lives through the first mana void if she's low on mana. I think she just dies. Oh no, actually she would live. She has a tiny bit less health than mana, but there is magic resistance, so...
Top lane, they're just
RP?
using the RP to get any kill that they can. They'll scale back crit, the light strike will be on point, and with the
Very
Luna they'll
nice.
find themselves a kill. And in a game where kind of the pace has slowed down, using an RP at this point to secure yourself one kill
It's fine.
isn't the worst of uses.
It's fine. Like, if you're not going to find a teamfight-oriented RP, then you have to use one to get kills. And luckily for MFF, their lanes weren't, like, super
Radiant's
pushed in.
bottom tower is
I mean,
under
sure, they
attack.
might be able to apply some pressure to the tier 2, but a kill is a kill. Some extra space being created.
Alright, but look at the no-tail. No-tail will put the BKB, turns around with the rocket barrage onto Dina with a missile as well. Miracle walks in, takes the kill, with the kill secure. Godlike here on the crop. They'll look for the tier 2 here as well at the bottom. And this is a period of about 40 seconds without a
Radiant's
Darkseer.
bottom tower has fallen.
Of course, RP is still going to be on cooldown if OG do want to try and force this issue to the high ground.
Dire's top tower tower.
But I imagine Roshan's going to be back up fairly shortly. Obviously, we've been talking about how OG are a team that plays it safe. They don't take too many risks. Mid lane, I'm going to see.
Nice force staff. That was really good. Sing almost would have died to that, I think, if they didn't force staff him there.
And Sing as well. Looking to skip out the Vlad this game by the looks of it, just trying to get that Manta online to deal with the Crop Orc initiation.
The Manta is a necessary thing. Like, most of the time you would want to buy Vlad's first, just to keep you up and, like, sustained while you're farming. But the fact of the matter is, if Miracle can stop you from farming all on his own, OG still win the 4v4 if the AM and the Queen aren't there, right? Because they're just so much more farmed at this stage in the game. And it's even reflected by the overall net worth. Last game, Miracle had just like a tremendous amount of CS in comparison to everyone else, but OG playing a little bit of a dual core style this game, is letting Miracle farm everything along with No Tail. So it doesn't really matter if you're negating like the highest net worth hero on the side of MFF with your own, you still have something else to fall back on. MFF don't have that other hero who's super farmed. Like Arise has 63 CS in a 27-minute game. He's not hitting creeps anymore. He's leaving everything for Sing.
He has got that RP back online though again. So we'll see if he's able to do anything with it. Moon just clearing out the mid lane here. He's working towards, of course, the Aghanims here on the Nyx Assassin now on top of the force. And he's fairly close to it as well. There's 500 gold to go and he'll be able to pick that one up. So something else that Monkey Freedom Fighters aren't. I'm going to have the most fun of times fighting into as he hides in his little mound of dirt and kicks out his spells. It's going to be fairly annoying for the lineup of MFF, especially a lineup that's nowhere near picking up a BKB for any of the heroes. And not that they want to anywhere. Rise being fought again. The RP's being used, but this is a big kill. Getting nice over the Winter's Curse as well, and they burst him down. These are the pickoffs that Monkey Freedom Fighters need to farm.
That's a good one. That's a really, really good one, because that means they can actually pressure the tier 1. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but since their tier 2 mid is already dead, OG are going to have to choose between, do they want to try to push in top, do they want to push in mid a bit, or did they want to defend without their gyro? Is it possible? Yes, because RP and Curse are both down. Do they want to take the risk? I suppose we'll have to see.
Miracle just starting to be up so at the moment. He's got a Sonic Red.
Oh, they're not even going to push it. Wow, they're just going to back. Alright, they are super scared.
Miracle's just hanging it. Oh, a very rare miss up there from Miracle. The Sonic Wave totally off point. And he's just got to get himself out there. Yapsol's able to juke that one off quite nicely. Keeps his life intact.
That was interesting, but living is living, as they say. This Nyx has Aghanims, by the way.
He's got it done.
It's actually so good on this hero. And the thing is, you never have to go back to base anymore. Ever. You just burrow. And the other thing is, you don't actually have to be hit anymore for carapace to work as long as you're burrowed, so you can potentially stun multiple heroes for 5 seconds at a time. That's pretty much RP. Like, obviously it doesn't go through BKB, but the stun time is similar.
And as we can see, the fact that Gyro, no tell, even though he did lose his life down the bottom, he's just finished at the butterfly as well, ready to go for the next fight. And obviously no sign of anything like an MKB coming out anytime soon here for Sing. No tells. They're going to start to go for Roshan. I imagine how until RP's back up here on Arise.
Should be soon. Yep, 3 seconds.
Okay, so they do have the tools to deal with it, but they're not really in the right location at the moment, MFF. They're just looking to put some pressure onto this top tier 2, so OG should get away with this one. They're taking the time here, they haven't got the quickest means to deal with it. But nonetheless, I don't think Monkey Freedom Fighters will be able to stop this. Manta is now complete on Sing, so he's going to be feeling a little bit more confident in terms of going out on the map. And at the same time that comes along, there's a BKB for the Crop, so Miracle in these fights is going to be even harder for MFF to deal with.
I don't know how they're gonna kill No Tail. Like, I think he can just go back for Satanic if he wants. He's building his gyro as like the hard carry position. Sometimes we see SNY and Helm of the Dominator, similar to game 1, where Miracle was playing it, because they knew they could just end the game at that timing. But this time, No Tail is building for the ultra late, just giving the respect to the AM and the Magnus, just saying, okay, just in case we mess up, I have a build that's going to be a lot harder for the AM to fight into if we're trying to breach the high ground. So even if I do get RP'd, I'm going to have Satanic to fall back on with BKB, I can heal myself up, and then if I haven't been stun-locked to death, we've won the fight. Like, that's pretty much what that build can do against MFF's lineup right now.
There's a smoke up here from OG. They're heading towards the top lane, both Kabap and Arise hiding in the trees. We'll see if OG do decide to try and scout it out any deeper into the sidelines. They've got the force on Moon if he wants to slide into the trees. Kabat coming out, but just on the end of the night vision here. I don't think they quite got the vision of him. So Kabat, well, he's going to reveal himself now. Now the pings come out. They know that they're there. They know that both of them are there. In fact, and Arise blinks forward here. Skewers away, and he's going to look for the TP, but there's the stun here from Moon. And unfortunately, that MFF chose that time to reveal themselves up there whilst there was 3 heroes from the side of OG behind them smoked up.
Yeah, that is what we call unfortunate timing. Sometimes Dota 2 happens, man. Can happen to anyone. Unfortunately, it happened to Arise. And OG are going to be happy with that. They're just going to continue to push out the lanes. Sing, like full Manta, this is the point in the game where he can start to become a real nuisance. If they start getting an RP or 2 on either Moon or the Queen, those are definitely the best targets at this point in terms of how much damage your Mana Void's going to deal. If you can get that going, there is still teamfight potential for you. You can turn. But it's still difficult if the enemy isn't really grouping up. Like you're looking at maybe a 1-man RP into the Curse, very similar to what we saw them do against No-Tail. But if you do it against Miracle or the Nyx, they should be dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, as you said, OG, if there was ever a team to play around these huge kind of AoE spells, it's going to be OG.
Yeah.
With the very careful way that they normally try and break the high ground, which is why we get these positions. We're going 32 minutes in. We haven't seen the biggest amount of kills. We're just seeing a little careful play here from OG. And now they're going to try and move forward here. Let's go for the tier 3 battle rise. Moves and skill's going to be off point. He has still got that RP though. So we'll see what OG do. Moon's just setting up outside of the base.
My god, that stun range is massive. Look at that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to even fight off the back of a good RP with the imminent threat of the Nyx assassin.
I mean, you can't even go on him when he's burrowed, that's the problem, because you deal almost no damage to him. He takes 40% reduced damage from all sources.
Alright, again, hoping for these skewer hooks, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to lose the courier here on the side of OG, didn't have anything in it though. And meanwhile, top racks are just being slowly taken down here from OG. And
there's the back.
But 3KB's there and the cooldown comes out as well. Darkseid just gets blown the hell up, and No-Tail's moving in for more here with Miracle, looking to find some more action. Winter's Curse has come out, but it just doesn't matter here at this point. They've lost 3 heroes on the side of MFF. There'll be a buyback here on the Lina.
Invisibility.
They already have lost quite a bit here off the back of this fight. And Arise, he's got an RP. The follow-up, is it there? They're brought back on the Dark, so they still have the vacuum and wall combo available. And so just coming on to Rise, holding him off from getting any kind of blink initiation. You've got Sing Sing on the bottom, looking for a bit of a split push. And he might just get away with this tier 2. A TP coming in from the Nyx assassin here. Oh, Sing Sing with a very short blink, finds the tower. Let's see if they've got the control to stun him in place here, and while moving forward with the snowball, Sing Sing, can he get the blink off in time? He can, he's going to be fine. I'll say that, Crit goes forward here, the Manta coming out. Sing Sing continuing to go on the run, and it looks like he will be able to TP himself out. So we're seeing Sing Sing doing exactly what he needs to here, just putting pressure elsewhere on the map, forcing OG to back up, but they do
Basher?
lose racks.
I don't know about this. I think he needed BKB. Without BKB, there's no way you can fight them. Like, there's too many disables. You're basically going to get snowballed, like stunned, Nyx, carapace, like any number of things can happen to you in a teamfight right now. With Empower, I don't think you need the damage from the Basher. Having the control is nice, but you're still pretty much only reliant on getting an RP. I don't know if I agree with the Basher here.
I mean, I guess could the thought process be that if you get the Basher and eventually the Abyssal Blade kind of earlier on in terms of the build, when you're doing these split pushes, OG can't just send 1 or even 2 heroes back. They've got to commit quite a few with the reaction. Otherwise, there is the danger of the Sing Sing anti-base just jumping straight on you with the bash and bursting you down with the Manta style and just getting the kill with the Void.
It is the more YOLO play, that's for sure. Like, you're right about the solo kill potential. It is definitely better with an Abyssal Blade, but I don't think that OG really need to focus you that much. I think they just need to get one more lane pushed in, and then no matter how much you split push, it's going to be an uphill battle because there's 2 lanes of racks down. And at that stage, you have to actually push the lanes that are dead, which means less income. It takes longer, and that just gives OG more wiggle room. So you want BKB to stop them from getting to that point. I'm not sure if he's going to have the time to farm another item, or if he just wants to save for buyback at this point. But he's already been forced back to base, and OG are well in position to do something here.
I'm doing this side, just coming out to Sing Sing. Let's see if it goes for the...
Is that Max Rocket? It is, wow, okay. Don't see that very often.
Okay, this could be big from MFF. The smoke's up. Can Arise find that RP? There are 3 heroes at the moment on the side of OG, fairly close together on the bottom line. Looks like they're going to move elsewhere around the map. Looking towards the H's, they know that Notel's been clearing a fair few of them here, so we'll see if OG come forward. Crit is there. Can they find it? They'll RP just straight onto Crit. They're looking for the easy kill and they'll get it. They'll take down the Tusk. Notel trying to move in, see if we find anything in return. Grieves a pop though on the side of MFF. You're going to see Moon get the stun here onto the Wyverns. They'll find a kill in return. There's actually a buyback here from the Tusk. Scythe is now picked up by the Queen of Pain as well. So the smoke and the RP finds a kill, but they do lose a hero in return, so still not really the trades being big enough as MFF need at this point.
1 for 1. It's okay. Like, if you're going to be going into the game and dropping a solo RP at this stage, you get a kill, you force OG maybe a little bit back, that's fine. Like, you're just looking for the room right now, but Arise. Oh, he's so dead.
He is very, very dead indeed. There's a vacuum. But that's all it's going to be. Sing Sing. Oh, he wants some. He blinks straight into this one. He's looking for a bit of action, trying to chase down Fly. He's going to need a bash. He's not going to quite be able to get it here. Now blinks on towards Miracle. Miracle himself blinks forward, but take the kill onto the Lina. And now with the stun here, Magic Missile as well with the Warrior's Punch and the Snowball stun. Sing Sing gets taken down. They've lost 3, make that 4 here. As the shards from Tusk make short work of Kebab's Wyvern. And now MFF 8 to 20 for the buyback on Sing. They do have buybacks available on, well, it's actually just the Magnus here as well. And look at this Nyx Assassin. Obnoxious is definitely the definition. Oh, they have to punish it. And
Nice.
okay, nice, they can. They'll find themselves a kill here for Sing Sing. Did, of course, have to come back into the fight for this one. Let's see if they can stop this push on the mid lane here. OG, of course, feeling very strong. They'll take the tier 3. They'll look for more. They are going to have an RP back in 10 seconds when Arise is up. It's going to have to be, as we keep saying, the biggest RP of their life, of his life, if he wants to turn this. They'll almost certainly lose these racks in the mid lane. Magnus is back, RP in 4, but OG, we talked about this before, just their composition and just how safely they play, and they're not going to risk sticking around. They know that Mag's up, they know that he's going to have the RP, and they'll play it safe and just back off from the mid.
Yeah, there's no reason to take the risk right now, knowing Roshan's up. I mean, it's not up yet, but it's going to be up really freaking soon. That's a rough game for MFF. 2 games in a row. I'm not really sure what they can do outside of just land really nice teamfight ultis. Like, that's what they have to play around at this point. The landing phase went amazingly well for OG. And MFF just didn't really have an answer during the mid game, and I gotta give a lot of credit to Moon, because he was the one he broke 2 smoke ganks back to back. Those smoke ganks could have very easily resulted in picks that could have given MFF the space they needed to actually get Sing the item timing, right? But because that didn't happen, MFF kind of get controlled, stuck in their base, and then all of a sudden you have this game that becomes very predicated on, does the mag hit his ulti? And if he doesn't hit his ulti, what is our backup plan?
Let's see what they can do at the back of this. Yapso's moving in first with the lean. A bit of cooldown from Notel here, trying to find positioning here. Lotus Sword's been thrown out to Notel. They've got the BKB as well. Arise still hanging in the sidelines. He wants to wait for the opportune moment to move in, but the Hex is already there, and they've already lost 2. They may even lose 3 here as well. Demon pops the Greaves. The Sonic Wave comes out here onto Arise. He tries to get himself over the cliff and away. They've lost 3. Arise will be able to get out. MFF, they looked for the aggression, they looked for the play, but OG just end up punishing it once again.
I suppose Sing lived. That means he can get the lanes out a little bit farther before OG are able to deal any real damage, or maybe they just rotate all 5 over to try to find him.
Is Notel going Rapier here?
No, it's Abyssal.
No, it's Abyssal, okay. Yeah. Okay.
The thing that's really...
down.
If you look at the way that they itemized on OG as well, there's already a Lotus Orb up on Fly, so they're prepared for the Laguna, they're prepared for the potential Winter's Curse or the Mana Void. All 3 spells are great to reflect if you can do that, and it also reflects Abyssal, which Sing is building into. He hasn't opted for the BKB choice, so when they're going as 5, and Sing is eventually forced to fight with the team, typically you want to go on the 2 biggest teamfight contributors, which are No-Tail and Miracle. But having the Lotus Orb makes it really scary, because if you mess up and you cast into Lotus Orb, a Winter's Curse on your own team can just spell disaster. And abyssaling yourself probably won't feel that great either.
Let's see what the plan is. Well, they're just Sing. This may not be the plan.
That carapace,
That
dude.
was not the plan. He's now dead for 100 seconds, and without buyback as well.
He's got a gem for each eye now on the Nyx. That's the most important part.
And I think this may be the beginning of it being a wash now, Andy.
Yeah, I think this is a good old GG here.
Unfortunate there from Singh. OG, they'll find the mid-racks, and 40 minutes in. You know, MFF nearly lasting twice as long as they did the first time round.
I still really never felt like they had a control of the game. That's the problem. It doesn't matter if you last 10 minutes or 50 minutes if you're never actually winning at any point. And I really didn't feel like MFF were winning at any point. And that's kind of harsh to say, but it's just credit to OG for drafting well, playing well.
GG! The game is over, Andy.
It is indeed.
It is indeed. And hats off to MFF for giving it them their best, but
Yep.
the best, it just wasn't good enough.
OG just seemed to be on another level, honestly. Like,
OG,
I watch them,
pretty
and I think they're like definitely tier 1 quality, you know, like Secret up there with like Vici, EG, all those other teams who were considered widely the best. Like when I watch them play, I get that feeling. You know, you're watching a really, really great team. And not to take anything away from MFF, they've had some roster issues, they're still trying to find their footing, but it's a rough matchup, man.